Tonight, we're gonna do some tracking to tape on the good old Fostex R8. We've done some testing, it sounds pretty cool.
Let's just do a pass.
I mean, I literally had no idea how I was gonna get out of that. I thought I had an idea in my head and I couldn't remember it. So the kit, the big old Ludwig classic maples. And we went big this time. 26-inch kick, 13, 16, and the 8x14 classic maple snare. And as you can see, there's moon gel everywhere.
I get this in one take. It's way too, I mean, not one take, like right away. It's gonna take a little bit. Because it's pretty.
Well, you're
pretty
close.
Busy.
Well,
pretty
let's.
busy.
We can always do a punch.
Yeah. We haven't tried that.
Exactly. So we'll try it on a live stream in front of everybody. We don't even know how to use it all.
All right, let's see what all these switches do. Oh, thicker.
What?
Okay, thicker. Wow, it's like halfway. I'm like at 9 o'clock. Look at that. Wow. Wow.
It's pretty cool.
This is pretty cool.
Boom.
Here we are.
What's happening, everybody? I had to do one little switch there because we were still pumping out the Wi-Fi. I had to turn the Wi-Fi off.
Yeah, hi-fi no bueno.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's my stick. Welcome back, everybody. Today is going to be a fun one. We're going to have a good time. But first off, oh, man, there's going to be so much. We have a delivery coming tomorrow from our friends at zZounds with a lot of stuff. Oh, we're going to cook
Christmas
up
is early.
Yes, it's going to be cool. Got a new sample library out that just released in the last month. That's really bitchin'. Check that out over at Ultimate Studios Inc., the website. The links are down in the description. There was something else I was going to say, but I got thrown by having to turn the Wi-Fi off that I don't remember. So without further ado, let's just hop into it.
Yes.
So we're going to bring Matt McGlynn on. We're going to talk about this awesome new mic that Roswell just released called the Aztec. So let me bring Matt in. Boom, boom. Matt, you there?
I'm here.
There we go.
Excellent.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Well, thanks for making awesome microphones. So the Aztec, this is brand new mic. This is, can you just tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, the Aztec is a tube microphone. It's Roswell's first tube microphone. We've wanted to do one for a long time, and it's pretty complicated to come out with a product like this because there's a lot of moving parts. So what we did is we did what we kind of always do, or at least the approach that I like to take to these things is, the market is kind of flooded with mics that are clones, giant air quotes there, because a lot of times those clones are only copies of the shape of the microphone, and what's inside is anybody's guess. But one thing I've learned, Charlie, check me on this, Ernesto too, because you guys have a lot more studio experience than I do. As far as I know, you can't see the mic on the record. Is that true?
I haven't figured out a way to do that yet.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Maybe AI will help out with that.
and recognizing it through audio and in a mix is also very hard.
Yes.
Yeah. So
anybody who claims that, oh, I can hear a U87 on those vocals. It's like, why?
So what we try to do is try to make the mic sound as good as we possibly can. And to that end, we've done a deep dive over the course of years into circuit topology and components, and so for the Aztec, we borrowed a circuit design, like the core audio circuit design, from a very old microphone called the Elam 251, and that was made in Europe in the 50s, 60s, something like that. And there were actually a couple different versions of it. There was the 250 and the 251 and the 250E and the 251E. And so if you want to be pedantic, what we did was we took the 251E, in a sense. We used the same tube as that mic, which is a 6072 style. So that's a dual triode tube. We use only one of the two triodes, which was the way they did it in the old days. So there's basically two different tubes inside that one little glass jar, and we just use one of them. And then the transformer that we use is, we call it a T14. It's not a clone of the original T14. What we did, again, is what we always try to do is just make something that meets the technical specifications in terms of, in this case, the turns ratio and inductance and things like that, but sounds really good. And there's a lot of ways to manipulate the sound of a transformer. And it has to do with, the wire gauge and the kind of wire and the purity and the way the wire is organized in terms of turning it around the bobbin. And of course, there's different kinds of lamination and a lot of different stuff like that. So did a lot of work on that. And so, and then on the component side, we just went through the entire circuit top to bottom. And again, because we weren't trying to clone the look of the microphone, because that's like the least important part of it in terms of getting a record that sounds good. What we did was thought, well, can we add some features to this that would be useful? So where the original mic was not a 9 pattern, this one is. So you have 9 different polar patterns. And we added a pad switch and a filter switch as well. So the pad switch is useful. As you know, if something's louder than the microphone's happy about, you can engage the pad and buy yourselves more headroom. And the filter, if you're doing vocals up close and it's too bassy, or acoustic guitar is another case where you might want to use that, and you want a close mic placement, you can roll off some of the lows right at the mic by flipping a switch, and that helps get a better sound into your recording system.
Yeah, so you have the pad and the roll off is on the mic, but the polar pattern selection is on the power supply.
That is correct. Yeah,
we are gonna run through those today on both acoustic guitar and drums, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll get to hear maybe not all 9 of them, but we'll go through the main ones just so you can hear the difference in how the mic sounds.
Cool. So and then the capsule, last but most important, as I've often said, the capsule in a condenser mic is the most important component in the entire thing. And so we have an edge terminated capsule that is not, we didn't want to exactly copy the sound of the original CK12 because that capsule was really bright. And when they made that mic back in the day, most everyone recorded the tape because transistors hadn't been invented yet. So everything was going to tape, and a lot of tape had really high fidelity. But one thing that was fairly true of a lot of different kinds of tape and tape decks is that over repeated playbacks, you start to lose some of the high frequencies. And today that's not true, right? You can play back from digital, as many as many times as you like. It's not gonna lose frequency information, right? It's got incredible fidelity in terms of reproduction, and so. I'm pretty sure that if someone comes up with a time machine and flies back to Europe in the 1960s or whatever and buys a fresh from the factory Elam 251 and then fast forwards to today and records it, I think that person would find that the mic is a little bit too bright for some sources. Mm-hmm. So what we did is we crafted a frequency response that retains some of the characteristics of the old, but also is a little bit more forgiving in terms of digital recording, which mostly means it's not nearly as bright. Because, once, especially with digital converters, if you pump too much high frequency information into your converters, they can distort. And once that distortion's kind of in your signal, it's there forever. And there's nothing you can do in the mix to fix it. So it's pretty important that that you get a nice clean signal going in and without distortion. So that's that.
Well, that's one thing I like about, just to go back on this is not technically a clone, so to speak. And that's something I like about your approach, honestly, on your whole line is things may be born out of the heritage of something initially, but your goal isn't to try to just copy something else and put it out. You're trying to give us music makers, engineers, producers, and whatnot the tools we need to capture the sounds we want without just going, hey, here's a clone of something, whether it is or isn't. And I like that. If I pull one of your mics out and I'm not thinking, oh, I want a U87 sound or I want a 414 sound, I just go, I know that mic and what it does on that source is going to give me the right thing that I want, and my head isn't locked in some mic type thing. It's all based out of what it sounds like, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like that about your whole line of mics, which is why I use it all the time.
Well, thank you. That is absolutely the goal. I have to say, my job would be easier if we just wanted to clone a bunch of other mics, because when you do that, your marketing is done for you, right? Mm-hmm. Millions and millions of up and coming engineers think they want a U87 because they've heard that name 500,000 times. Maybe never heard the mic, as far as they know, never held one, never used one. But they think they want one because that's the name that everybody hears. And it's like they used to say, this dates me, of course, but then again, everything I say. But they used to say in the business world, no one got fired for buying IBM. I guess that probably means nothing to anyone these days. But the idea was that company was so entrenched that you couldn't go wrong. It's like, it's IBM. It's got to be okay. Right. That's what it uses. Why wouldn't you want that? And that's, Neumann's kind of in the same position, I think, where you're wrong. It's a Neumann. It's got the badge on the front and everything. It's got to be.
Yep. And for the most part, if you use a U87, they all sound good. Whether it's the sound you want or not, it's a whole different thing. Yeah. But you can get away with using them. But like to your other point, and I do find this to be quite true because I've had this conversation with a lot of people that, oh, I want a U87. I love that, that sound. Have you ever used one? No. It's like, okay, you should really maybe find a place to rent one and a couple other things to see if that's what you want. Because you have one and you like it for some things, but we've done some tests here where I haven't. If I hear the Delphos 2 is, to me, one of the best mics ever made. I mean, Javier Reyes was just here doing the demos for us, right? He's the same way. He's like, oh, my God, that mic is great. But when I heard the U87, especially on, say, a drum overhead compared to the Delphos 2, the U87 felt like there was this over it, and all of a sudden the Delphos went like that. And it was a huge difference. Maybe you like the darker sound. I'm not going to argue that. But for me, it was like, oh, this is all of a sudden my drum sound open up. I hear my attack on my cymbals.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I don't hear the 87 as veiled. I hear it as thin as you get.
Veiled is probably the wrong. I wanted to try to simulate dark. I didn't quite know how to do that. It's not veiled, but it was considerably darker than some of my first choices, which just confirmed that I like the choices I've made. Is that confirmation bias, or did I actually? In this case, the Aztec is a different animal than all your other mics. It definitely has its own character. We did, during sound check, we went through everything just to make sure we had stuff working. We only have 2 of them here, so we'll have to move some mics around. But as we went through each sound source, we're like, oh, wow, this sounds really good. And this is my first time hearing it back-to-back that quickly on different sounds. I've heard it on drums. We've done vocals with it. We've done some acoustic guitars and whatnot, but never just like going boom, 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 boom. And compared to the Colaris and the Delphos, it sits in its own space, which I think is really cool. I think you'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Which was kind of, obviously it's a tube mic, it's a different thing, but I think that's kind of the point, is to not have the same mic.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And also see if you can use it anywhere. That's also cool to find out about a mic. You know, can you use it on anything?
Yep.
Why not?
Yeah, and the Aztec is, I'd like to think it's really versatile. And the weird thing about making products like this is that you find out from customers, whether the things that you hope for end up being true or not. Because I can tell you all day long, oh, it's amazing on this or that, but if you try it and you don't like it, then guess which of those factors is more influential to you.
Yeah.
Well, there's always a lot of this is subjective, obviously, to a certain degree. But I think what you're going to hear today is we're going to do it on everything but vocals, and I think we will show that versatility. At least what we heard in sound check. I think we're going to show that it can do quite a bit well.
I was going to say is that one of the ways that you get to versatility, there's a couple different ways within a mic. Like if a mic has a really extreme sort of sonic profile, it becomes an effects mic.
Right.
Those carbon microphones that you see, they sound like old telephones. So they're fast and they're kind of scratchy, and it's a really cool effect for some things, but you wouldn't actually just record everything with it because it's an effect, and that's okay. So if you want that effect, that's the best way to get it. But with something like the Aztec, it's got the 9 polar patterns, which I'm sure you'll get into, and then it's got the pad and the filter. So it gives you a lot of ability to control the sound. And similar to what we saw with the Delphos 2, I just rewatched the virtual showroom live stream that we did a couple of months ago with Ernesto on acoustic and vocals, because I was putting in the...
Who knew he had pipes, man?
Ernesto was for that one. But the point of it was you get some frequency response shifting as you switch patterns, right? The figure 8 bigger in the bass and has a little bit of a mid bump as well, and so on and so forth. And so the Aztec does some of that too. And the point of that is that you can actually get a couple of different sounds out of the mic as you manipulate the polar patterns and the filter and then the placement. And so that's, for me, that helps with versatility. It gives you a...
And we are going to show that today on both acoustic and drums, because you can definitely hear how the pattern affects, obviously not just the proximity effect and the way the mic sounds there in the room, but you'll hear that those little variations in frequency of what they pick up, especially on the drums. But on the acoustic, it's pretty obvious too. So should we?
Yeah.
Let's hear something, man. We've been talking. How we talking about a mic? Let's hear the mic.
Yeah.
So let's start with some acoustic.
All right.
So Matt, you want to hang out?
Yeah.
And just stay on the stream, and we'll just pop in and out. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to.
All right. I'm going to my place. I'm getting kicked out of the control room, and I'm going to my spot. Going in the musician's corner.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll flip over to that camera in a second. So we're going to start with acoustic guitar. We have a track that we actually wrote this one. We did this for the 47X when it came out, the demo. We're just going to use this today. And I am planning a shorter video on demand version of all this where I have my friend Tita Hutchison's going to come over and sing. So we're going to get some vocals. I'm going to do a little more in-depth with some stuff on the drums with these mics. And we will do acoustic and electric and bass and all that stuff again. And I'm probably going to add the piano into that for that video as well. But while we're waiting for Ernesto to get that set up, Matt, we should probably let everyone know about the virtual showroom coming up Friday because it is a bitchin' cast.
Yeah. So a week from yesterday, so that's Friday the 26th, we are going to be hosting Stuart Ham on bass and Toshi Yanagi from the Kimmel Show Band on guitar, and Chad Wackerman on drums. And
it's going to be an awesome lineup.
It's going to be huge. And
It's good.
Stuart has a new record that's in the works. In fact, I think I believe it was on Indiegogo. So he's got a fundraiser going there, and there's some cool perks to help fund the mix and master and so on. And so I'm hoping that he's going to play some of the tracks from that record next Friday. So tune in Friday. It's at 4:00 Pacific on Friday. And hopefully you'll get to hear some tunes from the new record.
And we have links up. There's a link on the Roswell YouTube channel and the Ultimate Studios Inc. YouTube channel as well. So go hit the save and the notification button so you don't miss that one. All right, Ernesto, can you hear me? Oh, I don't even have you on yet. Hold on. Oh, I hear acoustic.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, I'm going to go full screen on Ernesto here for a second.
All right. Can you hear me talk?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
With no problem.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, because I want to mention before we go into the mic details, the thing about the pick.
Yeah, well, talk.
Which is, until I actually tried it myself, there's a huge difference when you play an acoustic guitar, what pick you use, right? So this is my normal pick here, which is like 1.5, 1.3 depending, but usually it's considered a heavy pick. And then somebody told me, hey, try a thin pick. It's like, what? It's uncomfortable. It's, yeah, but it will benefit the acoustic. All right, let's try it. So now this is a very thin pick. And check this out.
Oh, interesting.
Back to the other one. Especially on the low strings. So
That's
if you want that
quite
chimey sound.
That's quite a difference.
Oh, it's huge. So this thin pick will give you way more attack. So even on rakes, if I do the same rake with a heavy pick or any pick that's not that thin, so if you don't want to hear the strings attack, then yeah, use a thick pick. Or
it also has more body.
yeah. So it really depends on what you're going after.
What are you going to use today?
I'm going for thin because I like to hear the chiminess of the arpeggio.
Okay. So one thing about the mic placement that is not apparent from the camera angle is it's the same height as his neck. on the not his neck, the guitar's neck.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just
In the video, it looks like it's actually below, but it's not. It's directly pointed at the neck of the guitar.
So because it has a little tilt on it, so.
And how far back is that?
I'm like, what is that? A foot?
Yeah, at least a
more
foot.
than a foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're in cardioid right now, correct?
Yes, correct.
Go ahead and play just a little bit. So this is cardioid.
All right.
Flip it over to Omni. Wow, you totally lose the presence.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, go over to figure 8. I am starting to really like figure 8. Go to cardioid again real quick.
Well, cardio is in your face, you know.
Go back to the figure 8. The figure 8 cleans it up just a little bit.
Yep.
Hey, Ernesto, can you hear me?
No, he can't. What do you want me to ask him?
No, I was just going to say the pattern voltage takes 3 or 4 seconds to ramp up or down.
Yeah.
So,
okay, Ernesto.
Yeah.
When you switch the polar patterns, count to 3 or 4 before you play, because it does take a second for it.
Oh, okay.
So let's go one more time. Cardioid.
All right, got it. So now Omni.
Okay,
One,
wait a second.
2, 3.
Yeah, rounds it off. All right, figure 8. This time count in German.
1, 2, 3.
I am starting to love this whole figure 8 thing.
Oh, it's great.
Let's go for cardioid.
Yep. Make a
For
point.
this. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna lay down the acoustic track. There is just a temp drum track that is on here that I will replace momentarily, and then we'll go from there. So you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. You're not getting the click, are you?
No.
Hold on.
La, da, da, da.
Oh, hold on.
Gotta experiment some cool chords here. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, we reset the patch bay and I forgot to plug the click back in. All right, you ready?
Yeah,
Here we
let's
go.
do it.
Oh, and
yeah.
then there's my how to get fired off a gig fill at the end. I don't know how you play to that. We will get rid of that.
Oh,
the second we
you know,
can.
it's. I ignore it. That's the only way to play against that.
Now
Yeah.
there is a piano that you guys heard in there. That particular piano was actually recorded with the 47X. And I'm just leaving that in there for a little bit of context.
All right.
Are we doing any other acoustic parts, or is that it? Is the rest going to be with the clean electric?
Well, don't we? Are we gonna record different patterns?
You want to lay it down? Yeah, go
Yeah.
to figure eight. I don't think we need a. Well, yeah, we can do all three. Go to figure eight first.
Yeah.
So we'll go cardioid, fig eight, omni.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell me when you're ready.
Yep.
Here we go. You guys can't see me while he's finishing the tune, but I don't know, that ridiculous drum thing that I did during sound check is just nonsensical.
All
Hey,
right, Omni.
Yeah, Ernesto, what model Fender are you using?
That's a very good question. It's it goes by price. So if you find this one, this Fender Guitar Center, it's about $350 or $400. So, but yeah, the model number. That's a very good question. Yeah, he says DC. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's all these numbers. So just go by price. You know, it's a $400 guitar. So.
All right, you flip over to Omni?
Yep.
Okay, you ready? Here we go. Holy loud click. Yet I somehow ended correctly. That loud click that you guys probably hear is from the drum headphones out there.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't think Omni would be my, especially when you get to the strumming.
Yeah.
That's probably wouldn't be my first choice unless you were
Mhm.
going for a,
Yep.
you know, kind of a rounder kind of tone that maybe just felt like it was roomy. That could be really cool. But for the purpose of what we're doing here, I honestly prefer the figure eight. The cardioid sounds great too. But
Yeah. Yeah.
ever since that video, well, that virtual showroom with you singing and playing, I was like, oh my lord, figure eight is awesome. Okay, so that's all our acoustic though. We're gonna do our double with the electric, right? Clean?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go ahead and move that mic over.
Yep.
I'm gonna come back in here to Matt and I. And let me get me back in here.
Is my audio going out?
Yes.
So
Okay.
I was going to say, interesting thing about figure eight is that when I was a much younger person and a sort of less experienced engineer, I was really afraid of figure eight because I thought, you know, I wanted the microphone to hear only what was exactly in front of it and not the rest of the junk that's bouncing around my room. But the thing about figure eight is that maybe it wasn't obvious to me at that time, and in case it's not obvious to any of you, the thing about figure eight is that it sounds a little different. It's going to have a little bit more bass response, and in this case, a little bit of a bump in the mids, and then much narrower sides because it's not cardioid on both sides, because that would be Omni. If it was just cardioid on both sides, it's actually narrower than cardioid. And so you have, I mean, it's true, you have pickup off axis, 180 degrees, behind the mic, but you have none from the sides at 90 degrees. And in a situation like what you just saw on camera there's nothing behind the mic, just a big open room. And so from the mic's perspective, the guitar is really loud, and any reflected sound that might be behind the mic is really, really quiet. And so you end up not hearing that back lobe, the back of the figure eight ends up not really being that audible. So you're not getting a weird roomy kind of sound. Instead, you're just getting this really more focused sound from the front. So it seems counterintuitive because it is a figure eight mic, but in practice, it comes across more like a narrower cardioid. Would you agree with that, Charlie?
Yeah. Which is one reason I think I'm starting to really kind of like the figure eight, because it sounds, actually with that little bit it brings in from the room, that gives it a bit of a natural depth to it, which is kind of cool.
But it's not roomy.
No. It just has a little, like, a sense of space, which is kind of cool. And I'm going to do, that's one thing I want to do with the drums with this pair of mics too, is a mid-side setup where we utilize both the figure eight and the cardioid, and that can be a great room sound. Actually, that's pretty cool on acoustic too, but we don't have time to do that today. So now we're going to move on to, so we're going to do some clean electric first, right?
Yes.
Okay. Or do we want to do drums? Do we want to lay down because I'm going to, every time I hear that dumbass fill at the end.
Well, let's do it later.
Well, okay, let's do the clean, then we'll do drums.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So we're Les Paul.
Yeah. Les Paul, and then.
So you have, did you get that? Turn
Yeah.
around? Okay, yeah. Here, real quick, I'm going to flip over to camera 4. So there, it's a little dark in there, but here, so it's also hard to tell with that camera angle. Hold on a second. I'm going to go move that camera. Talk.
Yeah. Okay. So what I do now, and I have the Les Paul going into a frameless head, which is the one you see over there, and I'll use an EVH pedal, overdrive pedal, just to kick in distortion. But that's pretty much, and we're going a foot away.
Let me turn it on.
Right?
I don't
We're
have
going
it on.
about a foot away, right?
No, it's a little more than it's
Yeah?
a little more. It's probably about 16, 18 inches. Okay, so our clean arpeggio. Oh, I got to turn this on. Did you turn the pad on?
Oh,
I'll get it.
yeah. All right.
Here, I'll do this. Let's go back to 8. There, you got talk.
Yeah. Okay. So the one thing I can do with this guitar, which is something I do with all the Les Pauls that I have, not that I have a lot, but I use the tone knob as a coil splitter. So I literally turn off a coil if I want to go single coil on just humbuckers. So that's actually pretty neat.
Okay.
So to make a point, so now what I can do, I can turn off the one coil and I get into single coil mode. Now in single coil.
I'm going to take that mic a little closer.
So you can really hear how the single coil gets chimier. So really helpful if your humbucker guitar is maybe too fat or whatever. So you have to just make sure that whatever pickup you use has 4 conductors.
What pattern did you leave it in?
I think I went back to cardioid.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, so I can really choose between a kind of big throaty tone, or I can go single coil. So if you want to get that chimey tone, which is kind of neat. So that's single coil.
So this will be the double with the acoustic,
Yeah.
right? All right, let's do it.
So, and you can hear the hum because it's single coil.
Yep.
That's no single coil. That's single coil.
You're gonna come in right at the top? Right at the top?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Oh, you need a click. I'll turn it down after we get going.
So I'm going single coil just to make it chimey.
We gotta fire the drummer, man. Wow. Okay, so let's take this out of record and have a listen to just our guitars. Man, the tones between the two on the arpeggio parts work really nice, actually. And it's got a nice presence to it, but it's still smooth. And we aren't doing, there's no EQ, no compression at all. We're not, on this side of things, nada.
No.
It's all just straight in, that is. Okay, so let's, can we replace that drum part?
Yeah, sure.
Because I can't take listening to those horrible, how to get fired off your gig drum fills.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So we're going to just delete that right now.
Yeah, this is a record over it, yeah.
Yeah, so we can listen to it later. Okay, cool. All right, so now I'm going to go out. We'll stay one. So Ernesto, when I get out there, it's already ready. You can go right to camera 4.
Yeah.
And I'll move the camera first. So
all right, cool.
You guys...
yes, we'll do it. Yeah. That's what you call a 6-man operation done by 2.
So you've got Ernesto, you've got a mono overhead?
Yes, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, and then now Charlie is repositioning this, and let me get to camera 4. And you see there, he's putting it, and let's see.
Actually, before you do that, I want to say one thing about this drum setup. Ooh, I'm loud there, I can see. This is a sound that we had up from sessions from the last 2 days. So I have a Ludwig kit. The kick drum has the reso head pulled off. We have a single mini K47 KD inside it. So that's going to be the kick sound. I'm using a big fuzzy beater. I mean, huge fuzzy beater, so it's round. The drums are all coated Emperors with a ton of moon gels on them. And the snare is a 402, LM402 6-act, you know, the famous bottom snare, but with tons of tape. This was a really fat, dry sound that we were actually recording for some EP stuff we're working on the last couple days. So we have a single Aztec mono overhead. Hence the single mono, is I don't redundant there. But it's just a mono overhead, and then the mini K47 KD inside the kick. And we'll start with cardioid.
All right.
You can flip over.
Mm-hmm. Where's my mouse? There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. All right. Drummer in the house. Drummer in the house. Okay. So, man. Drums. There they are. Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna play a little bit in the kit. We're in cardioid. I should also mention I've got really small cymbals. 16. My hi-hats are almost as big as my crashes are. So that's cardioid. I'm going to flip over to Omni. Give it just a second. Hey Ernesto, mute the kick drum for right now.
Oh, got it.
I'm going to go back over to Omni. Or sorry, cardioid. So weird playing with small cymbals. And figure eights.
Yeah, amazing the difference just from one overhead.
I can hear it in my headphones,
Yes.
especially when I go to the figure eight.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah, you can hear the frequency filtering that's going on. Yep.
Yeah, it's the figure eight like comes out.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm hearing in my headphones. And controlling the cymbals. So these are both, man, I've got a old sound formula Peisty, which is one of my faves. This is a 602 medium thin, both 16-inch crashes. I'm using a 22-inch Dark Energy Mark II and a good old set of Formula 602 MEs, 15-inch hi-hats, and a big, huge, I should have taken a photo, it's a huge fuzzy round beater. So let's track this thing.
All right.
Go cardioid.
Okay, kick is back in. Oh yeah. All right, here we go.
I gotta make sure I hear the click. So.
I'll just hit play. See if you can hear it.
Okay.
Cool. All right, is those 2 bars enough? Or you want?
Yeah, no, 2. I think 2 is cool. So I got a bar count, and then I can do a fill. Okay.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
That's what happens when the drummer drags coming out of a fill.
All right. Okay.
Let's try that and see how that sounds.
Okay. And here we go. Okay. All right. So here we are back.
All right.
What are we on? 4 on 6?
Number 8.
So 8 is this one.
Yep.
There we are.
Go. All right, I'll trade you spots.
Okay.
Excellent. I'm gonna bring Matt back in too, just because it's more fun that way. I mean, I can even hear in my headphone the difference between figure 8 and cardioid. So let's take a listen to drums. What was that? Was figure 8 was the last one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can hear the room the figure 8 brings compared to the cardioid. Yeah, I mean, if you want a little bit of ambience in your tone, a figure 8. I'm going to go back to figure 8. Drums only for a second. Which I don't mind. How's that sound in context? Compared to cardioid.
Kick is closer.
So is the snare.
Yep.
That's a terrible fill.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cardioid is actually nice because I do have I don't know if you can see it in the. No, you can't really see it. I do have one gobo to the right of the kit, and I have 2 smaller ones to the left, but they're not really tight around it. So I actually, in this case, especially because it's a single mic thing, and we're going to do some distorted guitars now, space is going to be hard to come by for the drums as we add more things onto it. So having a little less of that room is going to help keep it coming through. So I'm going to stay on the cardioid.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That's where I'm digging.
Good.
And I think the results you would get depend on your room size and ceiling height. You have a pretty high ceiling in there, Charlie. How high is that?
Just under 12 feet.
Yeah. So if you're in an 8-foot, bedroom studio and you've got figure 8 mics above the kit, you'd get different results. Probably less room, but it depends on if your ceiling is treated and hard to predict that.
That gives you a new set of issues that could arise from the low ceilings. But I've had luck with figure 8 mics up against a wall, even for rooms like back on the other side where the back side is pretty close to a wall. But it all depends. But for this, if we had 2 overheads, I might stay with the figure 8 because we'd have some more presence. But Okay, so we're going back. Now we're gonna go. I'm gonna turn that guitar down.
Oh yeah, now we're going.
So we're gonna go electric, and we're gonna add that into our mix. Let me find those channels. Play.
Okay,
Oh.
now. There we go.
I'm gonna go check where that is real quick. I'm gonna go a hair closer. All right, so you're gonna do some chugs, right? Let me hear that. Let me hear the chug. I get it through your mic here. Do that again. All right, let's do this. I'll start you where the acoustics start because you
Okay.
come in after 4 bars, right? Okay, cool. And then where are we?
Yeah, I literally start. I start with the drums. So.
Yeah. All right, I'll put you on the right. Here we go.
Yep.
Wait, hold on, play. I'm gonna give you a little more level to play. All right, there we go. That's better. Here we go. All right, let's double that. Let's double it, which for those of you that don't know is actually a pirate's corset. All right, play real quick. Okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Making history. Boom. I actually, okay, so the mic, I moved it a little closer than where we were. And so it's about 6 inches, where, you know, about that far from the speaker grill.
Yeah.
We're not high gain here. We just got a little crunch on there. And I really like the way this mic is picking that up. Ooh, that is nice. Okay, so I see John Wells down here says he's digging to figure 8. I think that was probably for drums, but you know what? I'm gonna go flip that to figure 8, and let's do a figure 8 for the guitar as well. All right. I'm gonna turn this down a little because I'm expecting a boost.
Yeah. All right. I'll noodle in the meantime. You can hear it in the mics.
I don't have you on.
That's fine.
I didn't want to blow anybody's ears out.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so we'll go. And there's some of that room, a little bit more, which could be cool.
All right,
Ooh.
let's do it.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll mute the other one for now. So this is just going to be all our tracks with just the single figure 8 electric guitar. Wow, that is a different sound for sure, which is cool. Okay, so let's double that. Now we'll have both electrics in figure 8. Here we go. That is a different tone for sure. Okay, I'm going to solo up the 2 guitars. Let's check out our figure 8 that we just did. And cardioid. I didn't quite get my levels matched right. This will be a touch louder. In cardioid, it does a fantastic job of having a nice low.
Yeah.
It's round,
Yeah.
but I still feel like I'm hearing a nice pick attack on the strings.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of, for this particular sound, if we were doing an album, I'd probably favor the cardioid here over the figure 8.
Yeah.
If we were doing a rock thing, you know. But I don't, I mean, this sounds, let's go back here to the figure 8 again. Here's a little context. Figure 8. And let me go to cardioid. I think now it would be a matter of taste. You know, because the cardioid, it's like, I feel its presence, and with the mitigating the room a little bit, it makes it kind of come closer to you. But
isn't figure eight just a tad brighter?
Yeah, and you get a little bit of that depth from the room in there too. So
well, at that point, it's just choose.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What do you like?
I guess it's what else I'm gonna add. But if I'm gonna go for full, I'll add go for the cardioid. If I want it brighter, I'll go figure eight.
I'll stay in cardioid for now then. Okay. Okay. We may do a guitar solo here in a second too, but let's get some low end on here.
Okay. Bass.
So can you go move that mic?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have any. I'm gonna bring Matt back on with us. Today, Ernesto and I are the engineers, the producers, the players, and the assistants, and the runner.
Yeah.
Because our the executive back here is snoring heavily.
Well, it was supposed to be Chat GPT, but he was unavailable. So
yeah, haven't figured out how to bring them into human form yet. What are you hearing, Matt?
When you soloed the guitar, I liked the figure eight. It had something to it that I really appreciated. In context, it was harder to tell. Part of the problem is that the link that we're using keeps reverting to fairly low quality, which is weird because I'm on wired internet, but we're having a bandwidth issue. So sometimes it just distorts and goes pixelated on me.
Always something. I could go either way depending on which way we wanted to go with this song. I think the presence of the cardioid is nice, and I love the bottom end that it's getting on that. And that's a frameless cab. I think it's I'll have to ask Ernesto what speakers are in that. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it's really, the low end is full but not boomy. And we're also 6 inches back.
I was about to ask.
The grill. Which I've been doing that a little bit more lately on a lot of stuff, is not getting the mic, directly up on that grill, letting it breathe just enough, and it kind of opens things up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And I assume the pad and filter on the mic are off.
Filter is off. Not using that. The pad is on right now because the amp is fairly loud. So we turned the pad on to buy a little headroom.
Sure. Yeah, the tone was great though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that mic does a fantastic job. I kind of want to do some really heavy guitars with it and see what it can do. So what he's going to do now is we're going to do the bass, which I think is what he's grabbing. So we're using my good old Polytone Mini Brute 3, which is my favorite little bass amp. Those things they're tiny, but they pack a punch. The placement of the mic is going to be dead center of the cone. We'll have to ask him how far off he's placing it when he comes in here. But we had it dead center, probably about 6 or 8 inches back during sound check. And it's going to be the Fender Jazz Bass. And it should be pretty cool. But I'm impressed. I mean, I didn't think it wasn't going to impress me, but it's one of those things, if that's the only mic I had, I could do about anything I needed to do. And I'm not even running the pad for the drums. I wasn't playing as loud. But if you turn that pad on and go up another, 8 to 10 inches just to give you a little distance from the kit, I can full on bash with those things as overheads, and they sound great. It's been nice, and the vocals it's great on too. I can't wait to do that video that has Tita singing on it because it's going to sound fantastic. Oh, he just came in and went back out. He forgot the bass. Okay, that's going to make it easier. But it sounds great.
Good.
Here he comes.
One of
You forget the bass?
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going on number 2.
So just a reminder to everybody why he's plugging into the bass. Next Friday, Roswell Virtual Showroom. Matt, who's the guest?
Stuart Ham, Chad Wackerman, and Toshi Yanagi.
It's going to be an
a
awesome
really good
show.
All right.
Okay.
I'm there.
Okay, now let me pull the bass up.
How far back are you, Mike, from bass cab?
Where? Here, get your headphones on.
About a foot.
And how big is the driver in that cab?
This is a single. Did you turn the camera around? Oh yeah. Let me pull that one up. So it's that little guy to the left. It's I think that's a 12. Is that a 12 or 15 in that? These are old.
yeah.
A lot of jazz guitar players used to use these because they're small, they're not very heavy, and they get loud.
Yeah.
So it was easy to carry around. They just happen to be fantastic bass amps as well. So I'm going to take that a little closer.
All right. Uh,
Play. Unplugged all the headphones. We got click tracks going everywhere out there. Okay. So I took it up a little. I went into the high input also. All right, play for me. Play.
a little toasty there.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, just keep playing. Let me take you down. Play. I rolled a little the bottom off. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, so I'm starting you right where 2 bars before the drums come in.
Yep, got it.
I unplugged all the headphones out there because it clicked. Hey, play the B section. Just. There is a really cool, like, creaminess in the mid-range on this that is nice. And I like, at least from what I'm hearing, that the low end is kind of quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I pulled it down a little bit because it was a lot in that little amp, but it's nice and quick. I'm gonna go flip that to figure 8, and let's do this again with figure 8 and see what happens.
Okay.
I don't know if we need to do Omni.
Nah.
I mean, we could, but
Nah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So any Any preferences, you guys?
That was figure 8. I never changed it back from the guitar.
Oh. So now we're going what?
Okay.
Cardioid?
All right, so here's the deal. I never flipped that thing back to cardioid from when we did the last electric guitar. So that was figure 8.
Okay.
So now play. I think I'm falling in love with figure 8 on everything, man. I'm with John Wells on this, man. It's like figure 8, here we come. All right, you ready?
Yep.
So this is cardioid. Figure 8 we just did. Here we go. I love every time in that left acoustic guitar. Okay, that was interesting. Actually, let's go just bass only. This is cardioid. Figure 8. That is cool. Cardioid. I mean, that's not bad either, but holy crap, that figure 8. All right, let's pull in let's just do bass and drums, because really all music is just the rhythm section, right? Everything else is kind of unnecessary. Now I'll go to figure 8 on the bass. Add a little more context. All right, back to cardioid for the bass. It's interesting in context how I judge the bass and how it sits very differently.
Yep.
This is back to figure 8. I think that's fantastic. Holy crap. I love that. I think I'm really falling in. Okay, I'm going to bring everything in now. So I'm going to figure 8 first on the bass. Cardioid on the bass. Oh man, I don't know about you, but my vote is figure 8 on that one. That it just has this really I like the tone of the low mid, but it's also got this creamy mid range that's just nice. Okay, what if the drums go? Let's make Dr. John Wells happy. I'm going to go to the drums in figure 8. That was the last one we did, right? Okay, drums figure 8, bass figure 8. Oh, this is kind of cool. That was a terrible drum fill. I think I like the punchiness of the figure 8 on the drums, but I like the tone of the toms and cardioid. But wow, that's kind of cool. The bass and figure 8, that's something we're going to be using a lot of, I think. Wow, not bad. Not bad at all.
No, not at all. So yeah.
What are your final thoughts?
I guess when you have a mic that has so many options, it's it comes down to choosing time. You know, what works for the tune.
Well, that's not what I asked. I asked what your final thoughts were. Don't give me. Well, you gonna be a politician now? Come on.
Oh, it's all about being
He's good at that.
being politically correct.
Yeah,
you know?
screw that. What? Okay, I'll start with mine. I love the figure eight thing. I love this mic in figure eight. I do like the presence of the cardioid. I like the low end, especially on the drums of the cardioid pattern. But there's something in the mid range that whatever that I'm not smart enough to completely understand what my hair. I'm just gonna bring Matt back in. We need some brains. There we go. I really like the color of that. What happens in the mid range when this is in figure eight on the bass, great, and even on the drum, the snare, yeah. I think I like the low end, and it could be. I mean, these drums are tubby. Obviously, your source matters a lot.
Yeah.
On the acoustic, I go either way.
Yeah, it's just there's something in the mid range that happens. Yes, so I guess it's just a matter of do you like that sound better or not? You know.
And not to make things overly complicated, but this is a 9-pattern mic. So there's Omni cardioid figure eight. That's 3, and then there's 6
Right.
more patterns. So there's 3 between cardioid and figure eight.
Yeah.
So you might find that one of those intermediate patterns gives you some of the things that you like about figure eight without too much of whatever it was that, like the tone of the toms, you were preferring cardioid, right? So maybe 1 or 2 steps past cardioid would give you, retain the tone of the toms, but also give you some of the airiness of the figure eight.
That's true. We only did the 3 main and not going through them
Yeah.
all. We could just do a quick drum test, and I'll play like 8 bars on each one.
Yeah, you can do that.
From cardioid to figure eight.
Yeah.
We'll go that direction.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do that? All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go to the end here, and we'll just have a
I
clip.
wasn't
them out.
suggesting you do it now. It was just an
Huh?
idea. I wasn't suggesting you do it right now. I'm just saying that's.
Yeah, but I'm intrigued now, so let's go do it.
Okay.
And then you can just cut. What is the camera?
4.
4. I'll move the camera around though.
Yeah. All right. This is what you do. Experiment on the spot.
Yeah, and it's gonna stay in dual setup, Matt. So you're gonna be on the camera.
Okay. Headphones. Here we go. All right. So whenever you go figure eight, obviously what happens is maybe it gets more focused, right? Because you don't have everything coming from the front, right, Matt?
Yeah. So it's. I think there's two. I think there's 2 things that change that give it this more focused sound, and one of
Yeah.
them is frequency response shifts a little bit, so that you get this
Yeah.
kind of upper mid boost, 4K ish,
Yeah.
and that sound is associated with the K47 capsule. Usually, that's not the capsule that's in this mic, but
Yeah.
the way that the voltages are happening on the capsule, it changes the response in this way. So you get a little bit of that upper mid boost. That's part of the focus. And I think the other piece of it is what I said before, that figure eight, and we talked about this in more depth in that earlier live stream, episode number 8. And I posted a link to that in the chat for this.
Yeah.
But
Can't hear anything. Oh.
you unplugged all the headphones.
Okay.
But
what-
very briefly, figure eight has
Can you hear me?
no pickup from the sides.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I didn't have my headphones plugged in. I'm in here going, I can't hear anything.
Okay. There you go. All right.
Okay, so hit record, give me the click, and I'll play the same pattern like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Matt, finish the thought after we do this, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
What am I? Oh, hold on. I hear the guitar amp.
Oh yeah, yeah. Put it on bypass. Oh, the mic picks everything up. All right. Okay. Let me go to.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Cool.
Okay, that was cardioid. Now I'm going to go 1 tick to the right. we're gonna tighten that pattern up.
All right, here we go. Cool.
Go one more. So now we are directly halfway between cardioid and figure eight. We're right here in the middle.
Here we go.
I can hear it changing in my headphones.
Yeah.
Okay, we're one tick away from figure eight.
Here we go. Cool.
And now we're full on figure eight.
All right.
For the final masterpiece.
Here we go. All right. Okay. So here we go. So yeah, I didn't have time to do the split. Go back to full screen.
Oh, that's fine. That's good. Wow, I can hear it changing in my headphones. So I'm out there. I'm really intrigued what this is going to sound like in here now. Okay, so let's go. So we started with cardioid. I'm gonna mute the kick drum, and we're just gonna listen to the overhead. So this is cardioid. Got some beef. Ooh, that's got some nice beef. One tick to the right. Ooh, I like the snare here. Oh. The drummer couldn't remember the pattern. Fired that guy. I actually kind of like that. That was cool. Okay, so now we're directly in between figure eight and cardioid. Ooh. Uh-oh. I think I have my favorite so far. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
A little less bottom than the cardioid, but it was cleaner, and we're getting to that mid-range thing that I think, that creaminess I think I like from the figure eight. Okay, now we are one tick away from figure eight. Okay, I'm still like in the middle. Okay, now let's go full figure eight. Much, it's like brighter.
Mm-hmm.
That's as long a blast beat as I can do. Okay, my favorite. I really like this. This is directly the setting in between cardioid and figure eight. I think I really love this sound. I love that. And keep in mind, these drums are dead. They're either covered in tons of tape and toilet paper, or as many moon gels as I could fit on them. There is no like overall life to these drums whatsoever, and that was just the overhead, no kick mic. I like that setting in the middle. I'm glad you suggested that, Matt.
Yeah, it's cool. It gives a little more space around the kick and the snare for sure.
That maybe I'm gonna have to mark that setting. Well, I know what it is, but I'm gonna put a wax pencil right there.
Big red cross.
This is the setting right here. Wow, and it is different. That's really, I mean, you could say it's subtle at first, but once you get, I would say, one tick to either direction is okay. You can hear something's happening, but in context, I don't think it would be as big a deal. But once you go, 2 to one side or the other, you hear a fundamental shift, in the tone, which is cool. I like that one. Halfway between figure 8 and cardioid. And I probably wouldn't have done that because I see even John said, option anxiety on here or whatever. And it can be that because you just put up, it sounds good, but it just takes a couple seconds to run through them on whatever you're doing and go, oh, wait, identify something you like. And that sounded really good. I dig that. Okay, I'm glad we did that. I know you didn't mean to do that right now, Matt, but that was well worth my time.
Good.
Even if everybody else didn't want to do it, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, Matt, please finish your thought. What you were saying before.
Oh,
do you remember?
That's right. Yeah, you'd asked about focus, the more focused sound of figure 8. And I think there's two pieces of that. One is that there's this kind of mid-range frequency boost that comes out. And then the other piece of it is that because figure 8 is basically the front cardioid minus the rear cardioid, the consequence of that is that the nulls on the side at 90 degrees drop out. So you have no reflected sound from the side of the mic, which would otherwise be pretty loud. Like the sides in a cardioid mic are only down 6 decibels, which is really not that much. And in a figure 8, it should be like 18 or something like that, 18 decibels if it's
wow.
And I think that's the focus, right? Because you're going from hearing, like a cardioid is fairly wide to a fairly narrow sort of pickup. And I think that's literally where the focus comes from, because you're not hearing stuff coming right off the wall and back into the side.
Right.
So how does that differ, like design-wise, when you go hypercardioid in a pattern? Is that like a mix between cardioid and figure 8?
Yeah, where is that on the setting of the Aztec? Would that be that middle setting?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah,
I guess I like hypercardioid.
Yeah.
So there's I've said in one of the earlier live streams that hypercardioid is basically like a baby figure 8 in the sense that there is sensitivity from the rear of the mic, but it's not as loud as the front. It's a smaller sort of lobe. Whether it's one click away from figure 8 or 2, one of those two, those are going to be like different versions or different flavors of hyper.
Got it.
Interesting. Yeah, I know which one I like. Whatever version of hypercardioid that is, that tone, at least with that kit right there, I liked that the best. It was punchy and cool sounding.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a sound. It's cool.
This is a really good sounding mic, Matt.
Good, thank you.
I said that right. I really like, I think the reoccurring theme coming from me is what happens in that mid-range area on each of the instruments. Mm-hmm. I mean, the low is nice, but on the guitar, I really like how much the mid-range was clean and present, but it didn't get into that where some guitars can start to get a little like this.
Yeah.
But the low end was fast. It was round, but it was quick. But the mid-range, that thing that I love in a bass sound was instant with the figure 8 setting on that amp. And I love what that in-between setting is doing in the same place on the drums and still retaining some low end, because with a dead kit like that, and I didn't know how it was going to sound, that was just what we had up from the last couple of days. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to record that kind of stuff with a single overhead because there is no tone coming up to the mic. You end up only hearing, the sound of the wood hitting the mylar, and the fact that it's retaining some round tone says something about how that mic is picking everything up. I love it.
Yeah. It's a great sound.
Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good. Thanks for coming and tuning in. Thanks for your questions.
And thank you for sticking around the whole time, because I know that wasn't initially the plan. Was going to come in, talk for a bit, and we were going to go do some recording. But I appreciate you hanging out the whole time.
Yeah, no worries. Happy to be here. And it's weird being on Zoom because I've been, for the last 3 or 4 sessions that we've done, I've actually been in person there.
Yep. And you will be Friday.
And I will be Friday. Yeah, I'll be there next week. So yeah, it was good. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate you exercising the mic and, going through a bunch of sources and different patterns and all that. That's awesome.
And we will get the on-demand version of this. I'm going to kind of make it very concise. I'm going to add some vocals, and I'm going to do a couple other drum things with these mics as well. So we'll kind of expand on what we were doing here, but make it nice and concise.
And what other stereo overheads are you going to do?
Well, the overheads, but I'm going to do some room stuff because I have used this as a room mic before, and it sounds really good in the room. And the fact that it's multi-pattern allows for some other options, either doing Blumline, mid-side, which is a really great way to record drum rooms. It's actually also a nice way to record acoustic, so we should add that to the list of how we'll do the acoustic. And that this mic does a great job with that, but it's also really nice in the room. So we'll do a fair amount of it's gonna be a lot of drums and a few extra acoustic things too. So looking forward to that. But anyway, thanks Matt for joining us. Thanks for sending the mics over. Looking forward to Friday. That's gonna be fun with Stu. That's gonna be a really cool concert.
Should be good.
And that's it. I don't have anything else.
Nope.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you all in the next video.
All right.
Thanks.
Later.
Now I have to go be the video switcher. Hold on. Oh, wait. I got a computer here to do this. We'll see you guys next time.